Cruise mistakes. They certainly come in a lot of varieties. You've got simple mistakes, you got complex mistakes, you got mistakes that don't really matter, and then you got mistakes that could cost you your entire cruise. Well, in the cruise news today, I got to tell you about a couple booked in a suite on a Carnival cruise ship denied boarding for what could be the simplest cruise mistake. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. It is September the 4th, 2023, and it is Labor Day. Congratulations to everybody out there in labor. I hope your births go well. I hope that all of your babies are good. Congrats. That's not what Labor Day means. My apologies. Congratulate, happy Labor Day, all the workers out there, all the people in the proletariat. Proletariat, is that Labor Day? It's a day that you know who's not open on Labor Day? Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is not open on Labor Day, and Chick-fil-A is not close to my house. So I made the drive all the way across town to Chick-fil-A before I realized that Chick-fil-A was not open. That was a simple breakfast mistake, and well, all it did was just cost me some time, and I had to find an alternate breakfast. But I gotta tell you about this cruise couple that made a simple mistake that cost them their whole cruise. So recently, this couple traveled to Miami, Florida to jump on the Carnival Sunrise for a cruise to celebrate a milestone anniversary for them. And all was going well. They made it all the way to cruise day, and they were working their way through the embarkation process when they went through the security check. Now, they made it through the part of the security check where you get your bag scanned and you go through the metal detector, but unfortunately, they got hung up when it came to the canine smelling your bags part of the security check. And in case you're unaware, and we just experienced this at the port of Tampa, and I'm assuming that this is at all of the Carnival embarkation ports, there is a canine sniffing your luggage aspect of the security check when you are going through embarkation. I was surprised to see the canine. I did not realize that had rolled out to all of the different ports, and but yeah, it's there. And then this is a confirmation that it is also in Miami. I know they have it in New York. Have you been on any other Carnival embarkations? Do they have a canine there? The canine in Tampa, oddly enough, wasn't really being handled by what looked like a police officer. It looked like an employee by Carnival. So I don't know if Carnival's getting their own canine dogs. Either way, I don't know. But this is where our story transpires. When the woman's bag got sniffed, it was identified as having something in it that needed to be examined. Now, the husband went on. He had no trouble in the canine line, but then he realized his wife was not with him because she had been pulled out of the canine line for further inspection. And when they inspected her bag, they found a small number of CBD gummy bears. Now, the federal legality of CBD products is interesting. CBD products are legal federally if they contain less than 0.3% of THC. And therefore, those products are illegal if they contain 0.3 or more percent of THC. But the federal legality of CBD doesn't even matter in this case because CBD is on Carnival's prohibited item list. And so the simple mistake that these folks made is they brought something on board that's on Carnival's prohibited items list. But people attempt to bring things on board all the time that are on Carnival's prohibited items list. But that being true, the question becomes, was the treatment of this couple fair? And I've got to tell you what happened to them after the CBD gummies were discovered. Now, the gentleman who sent me the email describes the scene. He says that the CBD gummies are discovered. The wife says very plainly, I just got those. I used them for sleep. I didn't know they were prohibited. I'd be happy to throw them away and go on with my cruise. And they said that that was not allowed, that they were asked to go to a separate room where they waited for close to 30 minutes when an agent and a police officer came into the room and informed them that a decision had been made there at the port that the wife would not be allowed to board the cruise ship, that she was being denied boarding. And of course, the husband is there and he's not going to leave the wife. This is a significant milestone trip for them. So he's like, well, I'm not leaving my wife. She pleads with him again. I didn't know Can I just throw them away and get on board? And they said, no, the decision has been made. You have to leave the terminal. And the policeman escorted them out of the holding room. Outside the cruise terminal, they were told where to sit and where to wait for their luggage to be retrieved. The gentleman noted that after sitting outside for an hour and a half, another family joined them. They had also been denied boarding over CBD. This time it was a veteran that uses CBD to help with PSTD. They had also been denied boarding. Eventually, their luggage was returned. The gentleman got on the phone with Carnival customer service asking if they could board the cruise ship. They were told that whatever decision was made at the port was final, that they would not be allowed to board the cruise ship. He inquired about his pre-purchases and his prepaid gratuities, port fees, and taxes. He was told that those would be returned to him. However, to get that money, he would have to pay a $200 cancellation fee. Fortunately for them, they did have that suite from a casino offer, so it didn't cost them a lot of money for the cancellation other than the penalty to get back the things they'd already prepaid. When it comes to whether or not this treatment was fair or not, it's one of those deals, I guess. You do the crime, you do the time. However, they didn't commit a crime. They just violated the prohibited item policy. It's the same violation as trying to bring on an iron or a Bluetooth speaker or a coffee maker. All of those things violate the prohibited item policy, and normally the punishment for that is having those items confiscated, still being allowed to get on the cruise ship, and then getting those items back at the end of the cruise, or those items just being thrown away. Certainly that wasn't the case for CBD, and maybe the legality of CBD plays into it. I'm thinking for sure if you bring a handgun on board, you're probably going to be denied boarding. You're not just going to get it confiscated and handed back. So maybe there's different levels of how violations of the prohibited item policy is handled. But do you think that this lady should have just been able to toss the CBD if there was no other contraband in her luggage or, everything that she was carrying with her? If that was the only thing that caused any problem, should she have just been able to discard the CBD and continue to cruise? Or do you think the way that they were treated was on par, was commiserate with the fact that they had brought CBD on board? I would love to hear your comments on that, but the big takeaway, the big teachable moment is make sure that you're not carrying anything on board with you that's on the prohibited items list. It's published out there for all of the cruise lines, and no matter how many times you've cruised or whether you're inexperienced when it comes to cruising, that is the spot that everybody should check before their cruise. I don't check it nearly enough. I take on a lot of crazy tech gear, that kind of thing. I do need to check it to make sure that I'm not bringing on anything that is prohibited. This could have been avoided if that would have been checked in the first place. Boom, that's your cruise news. Happy Labor Day once again. Did you give birth during the show? Was it a boy? Did you name it Tony? I think that would be amazing. Leave a comment below. Yeah, I know that's not what Labor Day is, but wouldn't that be cool if somebody had a baby and named it Tony during the show? Do you like the cruise news? Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. Hit that like button on the way out. This is Tony for La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.